Swami to Bhaktivedanta ki jai. All glories to that. All glories to that. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Rajan
Tvaya
Anuprishtanam Suhridam Nat Suhrit Pure Vipra Shapa Vimudhanam Nignatam Mushtipir Mita Varunim Madiram Pitva Mada Unmatita Chetasam Ajanatam Iva Anyonyam Chatu Pancha Avasheshita Rajang Tvayanu Prishtanam Suhridang Nak Suhrit Pure Viprashapa Vimudhanam Nignatam Mushtibhimita Varunim Madiram Bhidva Madon Matita Chetasam Ajanatami Vanyonyam Chatuk Panchavasheshita Rajang Stvayanu Prishtanam Suhridang Nak Suhrit Pure Viprashapa Vimudhanam.
That's all. No, what meaning?
Rajan, O King, Tvaya, by you, Anuprishtanam, as you inquired, Suhridam, of friends and relatives, Naha, our, Suhrit Pure, in the city of Dwaraka, Vipra, the Brahmanas, Shapa, by the curse of, Vimudhanam, of the befooled, Niknatam, of the killed, Mushtipi, with bunches of sticks, Mitaha, among themselves, Varunim, fermented rice, Madiram, wine, Pitwa, having drunk, Madon Matita, being intoxicated, Chetasam, of that mental situation, Ajanatam, of the unrecognized, Iva, like, Anyonyam, one another, Chatu, four, Pancha, five, Avasheshita, now remaining. Translation. O King, since you have asked me about our friends and relatives in the city of Dwaraka, I will inform you that all of them were cursed by the Brahmanas, and as a result, they all became intoxicated with wine made of purified rice, and fought among themselves with sticks, not even recognizing one another. Now, all but 4 or 5 of them are dead and gone.
I think this editing was wrong, purified rice. What is called? Fermented, petrified, putrefied. Saying it's a putrefied, it has been purified. Editing. Yes, rice there in India is still because in India still no gentleman, Brahman, at least Brahmanas, those who are strictly following Brahmana principles, they do not drink. Neither the Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas, they are allowed to drink in some particular function. That is also very rarely. And Vaishyas, they do not drink. Shudras, some of them. Those who are less than Shudras, they drink. And they make their own liquor at home. They boil the rice and with water they keep it for a few days. It becomes fermented. putrefied, and it becomes intoxicating. Homemade liquor. And if you distill it, then it becomes first class brandy. So, it is not that liquor drinking was not existing, there was. But who drank? That is stated here, that viprasapa vimurana. Those who are cursed, vimurana, and being cursed, they were bewildered. Viprasapa. The story is that Jaduvamsa, the dynasty of Krishna, Krishna had 16,108 wives, and each wife had 10 sons, and each son had another 10 sons. In this way, the whole family was composed of hundreds and thousands of men, Jadu dynasty. And when Krishna came, so to assist him, all these demigods, they came to help him, Leela. Just like if you play something dramatic, you require so many assistants. So when Krishna comes, those who are devotees of Krishna, they also come to assist him. Somebody becomes his father, somebody his mother, somebody his friend, somebody his wife, somebody his son, some grandson, like that. So when Krishna wanted to depart from this planet, he wanted to take away all others also along with him. So these are simply material, external causes. Actual fact is, Krishna, as he went away, he wanted to take all the associates under different pleas. So it is explained in the Bhagavatam that the queens, they are not actually, nobody can touch them. Just like Sita was kidnapped by Ravan. Now, how it is possible that Sita can be kidnapped by a demon? No. That is stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that Lord Chaitanya, he was a guest of a Brahmin in South India. So he took his bath and came to the house of that Brahmana. But the Brahmana did not arrange for any cooking even. There is no food. He was very sorry. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired, Brahmana, you invited me, but I don't see even you have cooked. What is the reason? Yes, I am going to cook immediately. Thing is, I am very sorry that Ravana, the demon, has taken away Sita, and I could not rescue her still. So why shall I eat? I shall die. He was in the ecstasy of Hanuman, a devotee. He was thinking like Hanuman. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very much like that he is in devotion and in ecstasy of Hanuman, he is thinking like that. So at that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, so don't be sorry. The Sita Lakshmi ji, she cannot be touched by Ravan. It was Maya Sita. Maya Sita. I'll tell you, I'll give you evidence from the Shastra. So Brahmana believed him because he said, oh, it is that? Sita was not taken? In Maya Sita was taken? Yes. No. And then he became encouraged. He cooked and sufficiently gave him food. So, by chance, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was touring in South India, the Puran, Shiva Puran or something like that, it is stated there. And he brought the evidence again, that here you see in the Puran it is said that when Ravan came to kidnap Sita, immediately a false Sita was given to him. And the real Sita disappeared. Then again, when Lord Ramchandra, after killing Ravana, he was accepting Sita back to home, he tasted with fire. And Sita, you should enter the fire, and if you are not burnt, then you are chaste. Otherwise you are not chaste. Yes? So, the false Sita, which was taken by Ravana, she entered the fire and the real Sita came out. This is the statement in the Shastra. So, as things take place like that, the queens of Krishna, they could not be touched. But it is a play only. Similarly, Jadu dynasty, the descendants of Krishna, they also could not be killed. But just like Krishna was killed by the arrow of a hunter, how Krishna can be killed? But it is for the person, for the demons to demonstrate like that, who thinks Krishna as ordinary human being. So, for them, it is a jugglery. They will still know that here your Krishna is killed. Yeah. They will say like that. Tanahang dishata kuran chipami ajasra andhajunis. These demons, as they want to forget Krishna, they do not like to understand Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna plays something like that so that they will be more convinced that Krishna is not God, Krishna is ordinary human being. Tanahang dishata kuran kheva. They will remain in darkness forever. Krishna gives chance to everyone. If you want to forget Krishna, Krishna will give you such intelligence. He will talk so intelligently that Krishna is not God. Jijathamang prapadante. And if you want to know Krishna, then he will give you such intelligence, he will know that here is Supreme Personality of God. This is Krishna. If you want to forget Krishna, Krishna will give you chance to forget him forever. And you suffer. Because forgetting Krishna, one is not benefited. By knowing Krishna is one benefited. But the demons, Rakshasas, they suffer and still they want to forget Krishna. This is their business. So now, the most important thing is that Krishna made this plan to kill his descendants. He did not like that they should. But who will kill them? That is the problem. They are descendants of Krishna. Who will kill them? Therefore, it was Krishna's plan that they will kill themselves. If others come to kill Krishna's descendant, then what is the value of Krishna's descendant? Nobody could kill because in the Krishna's presence, whenever there was fight, all the descendants, they came out and we'll conquer them. Nobody. That is not possible. But Krishna wanted that before he is going away, all these demigods, they must also return. And return means this body must be killed. But we'll kill them. That is the plan of Krishna. Therefore, Krishna is Ishvara Sarvabhutanam, Riddhesha Arjuna Tishtha. He is planning. He made this plan. So what is that? One of them made a false pregnancy with a stone on the belly, wrapped with cloth, and another boy or another man, he went to a rishi that, sir, can you tell what is the womb of this, what is the child in the womb of this woman? She is not woman, she is man. So the saintly person could understand that these people have come to joke me. So he immediately cursed Vipra that yes, what is there in the womb, that will be the cause of destroying your whole family. So when they are cursed, they come to a senses, what you have done? So actually it was a stone. So they began to rub this stone so that there will be no existence of this stone. As rubbing, that pulp and water, that was distributed and all of them become sticks. So then after that they become intoxicated and they could not understand amongst themselves who is friend, who is enemy, and took those sticks and began to beat one another. In this way they died. This is the story. You know, it is stated in the Krishna book. So, our point is to know, this is a play only, background. Actually Krishna wanted to take them away. And nobody could kill them. Therefore he planned a killing plan among themselves. This is the fact. But we should know that viprasapa vimurana. If any person is cursed by Vipra, Brahmana, Vaishnava, then they are finished. Therefore, according to the Vedic civilization, Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are always honored so that they may not be dissatisfied. This is the rule. Brahmana and Vaishnava, the devotees and the Brahmana. Vidupatat bhaved vipra brahma janati iti Brahmana. Those who are spiritually advanced, such persons should not be offended. Then you are finished. According to our philosophy, Vaishnava aparad, just we are talking in our walking, that a great yogi, what is the name? Durvasa. Durvasa Muni offended Vaishnava. And immediately Sudarshan Chakra came to kill Durvasa. Vaishnava aparad is never tolerated by Krishna. Just like the Pandavas, they are Vaishnavas. And the Duryodhana and company, they were so-called Vaishnava. Actually, they are not Vaishnava. So they insulted they put to trouble so many ways. They banished them in the jungle, they insulted their wife in so many ways by creed. So Krishna could not tolerate that. Therefore the battle of Kurukshetra. So Vaishnava is kind. Arjuna, he said, my dear Krishna, whatever they have done, that doesn't matter. I cannot kill my family man. Please excuse me. They see, Arjuna is kind because he is Vaishnava. But Krishna cannot tolerate. Krishna said, you must kill them. That is my order. You must kill them. Then he argued with Krishna in so many ways. There will be so much sin, there will be this, that. Then he preached Bhagavad Gita, and at last he said that Arjuna, you are thinking that you shall be, by not fighting, you shall be able to save your family man, kinsman. That is not possible. That is not possible. They are already killed. It is not my plan. They will never return home. If you kill them, then you take the credit, but otherwise they are already killed. And if you think that you will not kill them, they will be saved, that is not possible. That is not possible. Then Arjuna understood that it is the determination of Krishna that they must be killed. Then why shall I disobey his order? It is my business to serve him. Yes, then I shall kill, if you have to decide. So, this is the fact that Krishna will never tolerate insult on a devotee. He will never tolerate. The devotee may excuse. Tinadapi suneche na tarorapi saisana. He may suffer, just like Prahlad Maharaj. He was suffering. His father was torturing him. He was suffering, all right. But Krishna never tolerated. Oh, you have done so much. Now it is your time to kill you. This is the process. Krishna will tolerate, even if you insult Krishna, he will tolerate. But if you insult his devotee, he will never tolerate. Then you are finished. Then you are finished. Just like a big man. If you insult him, he may think, all right. But if you insult or do something harm to his child, he will never tolerate. He will never tolerate. Similarly, a devotee who is dependent on Krishna and everything, and if somebody does harm to him, insults him, Krishna will never tolerate. That is explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Vaishnava aparad, karmadde Vaishnava aparada, hati mata. So we should be very careful not to offend Vaishnava devotees. Not to offend. This is the greatest offense. Therefore it is said, viprasapa, vimurana. Vimurana, those are rascal fools. They want to try to insult real Brahmana Vaishnava. Then they are finished. Of course, Vaishnava never curses. Tolerant. Tinadapi suniche another. Vaishnava tolerates, but Vishnu never tolerates. Viprasavad vimurana nignata mushtibhi mitha, being intoxicated. The other point is intoxication. We are already intoxicated. Being under the influence of Maya, the material energy, we are already forgotten about self. Whereas everybody, nobody knows that he is not this body. This is another intoxication. He is not this body, this is a fact, But go to the outside of this temple, ask anybody what you are. Yes, I am this body. They are already intoxicated. So, again if you drink, then how much intoxicated you become? You just try to understand. Varuni mudirang pitya madana modhita chetasa. Everyone who is in this material world, forgotten God or Krishna, he is already intoxicated. Just like intoxicated man, he cannot recognize even his father and mother, or even his sister or mother. It has been practical. One father intoxicated, there are so many instances. Raped the daughter. Daughter is crying, my dear father, I'm who cares for that? Intoxicated. You see? This is going on. So intoxication is so sinful. Intoxication is so sinful that just as the hog is intoxicated by this material world, eating stool, is stool a food? But he is tasting very nice and is deriving benefit, sexually very strong, never cares whether mother, sister or daughter. Every example is there in front. So by intoxication, we have to get out of this intoxicated condition of life, which is called Maya. Instead of getting out of this intoxicated life, if we more increase our intoxication, big signboard, beef eaters and this whiskey, then how much we are degrading the whole population. We have to imagine. You see. People are already in forgetfulness. And the government, the society, and they are still giving impetus. You forget more, you forget more. Then he doesn't know. Visatang tamisram. Adanta gobhi visatang tamisram. And they do not know that I'll have to take next birth. And according to my mentality, because I am infecting a certain type of material qualities, in that way I am creating my next body. That he does not know. This is due to intoxication. He is thinking that I enjoy my life in this way forever, but he does not know that he is creating the mentality, and according to the mentality, hog's mentality, he will become next life a pig, and he will eat. He has to by force. Not by force, he will relish it. Maya, this is called Avaranatmika Shakti, covering influence. The pig is eating stool, but he is very much satisfied. Such a nice food. He is having intercourse with his daughter or sister or mother, he is enjoying. So this hellish condition. So we create our hellish condition. Where from the hog come? The hog comes also, is also living entity. By process of transmigration of the soul, one is accepting, sometimes as a hog, sometimes a dog, sometimes a demigod, sometimes a rich man, sometimes a poor man, sometimes a tree. That they do not know. Therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Ei rupe brahmanda bhramite kono bhagyavanji. We are spoiling our time in this way, transmigrating from one type of body to another, and there are 8,400,000 types of body. So, in the human form of life, if one is actually fortunate, then Guru Krishna Kripaya Paya Bhakti Lata Bhi. By the mercy of Guru and by the mercy of Krishna, one gets the opportunity of understanding Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, they are entrapped by his maya, intoxication, and wandering throughout the whole universe and different types of body. So this is called Varmaning Mudirang Pitya Madana Mosita Chidasam Ajanatam. Ajanatam, without any knowledge. We are fighting one another without any knowledge. Why the Americans were fighting with Arabians, and the Arabians are fighting? The fighting is going on. The United Nations means fighting settlement arena, that's all. But the fighting is going on. So, unless we are self-realized, unless we know that we are all sons of God, this outward dress is Maya. I am not American, I am not Indian. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nang Vippa Nachanarapati Najutidba. He says like that. That he is taking the Varnashram dharma. Brahman, Kshatri, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu denied all these. Now I am not Brahmin, now I am Shudra, now I am Grihastha, now I am Kshatriya. Then what you are? Gopi Vattuk Padakamaleo Daso Dasan Daso. I am the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna who provides the gopis. This is our real identity. So, without understanding our real identification, if we remain intoxicated and wander within this wonderful universe, you cannot leave. It is not that because you have settled up. Now I am American or Indian. Let me live here comfortably. I have got very good arrangement. But you will not be allowed to leave, sir. You must have to change. You may make very good arrangement that who is allowing to stay here will not be allowed to stay here. But they do not know. Intoxicated. Because intoxicated. Everyone is thinking that I shall stay forever. Let there be very big iron skyscraper building and will be able to stay. But because intoxicated, he cannot understand that he will not be allowed to stay. You may simply spoil your energy, that's all. The energy which was given to you to understand God, you are spoiling that energy in skyscraper building, but you will not be allowed to stay. This is nature's law. But the rascals, they do not know because they are intoxicated already by the nature's law, Maya, and they are still being intoxicated. More drink liquor, and go to hell. Thank you very much.
Due to Chitsukananda's fervent devotion, he was able to get this beautiful temple in Mexico City across from Chapultepec Park and fill it with wonderful angelic Mexican devotees. Prabhupada was very inspired and impressed by the Mexico City Yatra. When he was there in Mexico, he talked a lot about the relationship between Catholicism and Krishna consciousness, that at heart there is no difference. He was struck, though, how the agony of Christ went against the grain of Vaishnavism. I remember one time in Mexico there, Prabhupada was resting in a room at a life member's home or something, and on the wall was a crucifix, Jesus in agony on the cross. I'd closed the door so Prabhupada could rest, and about a half an hour later I heard his bell ring, and I opened the door. He was sitting on the end of his bed looking at this crucifix on the wall. There were tears streaming down his eyes. And he said, "Just see, they have killed their spiritual master so that they can continue sinning. Please remove this from the room." and he had me take it out of the room.
I recall when Srila Prabhupada was invited to give an interview at a television station, and when Srila Prabhupada was greeted by the host of the show, who was one of the most popular hosts of any television show in Mexico, Srila Prabhupada was so humble. He was like a child. When the interviewer shook his hand to greet him, Srila Prabhupada smiled back at him with so much humility it practically melted my heart.
The short devotee who's wearing a white sari is Bhavatarini Devi Dasi. She was known to all of Prabhupada's disciples as Pishima, which means the father's sister in Bengali, because she was Prabhupada's sister. Pishima would come very often to the temple in Calcutta. That's me with my back to the camera. We were staying there too at that time. And she would bring prasadam for Prabhupada and for the devotees as well. She was a very gentle, kind, loving person. But there was a problem because Pishima cooked, as is traditional in Bengal, in mustard oil. And sometimes it would be hard for Prabhupada to digest her dishes, although they were very delicious. When Pishima heard about this problem, she said, "My brother can digest nails if he wants to." And on his side, Prabhupada once said, "Whatever my sister cooks, we have to eat. This is her display of love for me." And she had great devotion for her brother, not just because he was her brother, but also because he is such an exalted devotee of Radha Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada said that his sister was a devotee of Radha and Krishna from her very birth. Whenever we offered Pishima the respect that she so much deserved, she was very humble. She would say, "I'm a mere lady. I cannot give you anything. I cannot do anything for you." Quite often under her sari, she would carry a bottle of Ganga water or Jamuna water, and she would liberally sprinkle the devotees around her with this water, which was great fun, except for me because I usually had a camera with me. I would have to hide my camera under my sari when she pulled out her Ganga Jal.
That first Rath Yatra I have seen that is led by ISKCON Calcutta. That time I am reading in university, Calcutta University. I am a student. I was not initiated that time, but I am the follower of this movement. And among the family members, Prabhupada's family member, Pisima, myself and my sister Jolatala. Then there are not so many Bengali people because that time Bengali people, they are thinking, oh, these people are foreigners, because it is very new thing to them. How this could possible? Being a foreigner, they are shaving their head, they are worshipping our deity, they are suspecting something. But how Prabhupada is merciful. The first publicity we got, front page in all the newspaper. They say this is the first time that foreign devotees are chanting and foreign devotees are going on the street with chariot. It is a miracle. And Prabhupada was very pleased. Prabhupada told us that every year you celebrate Rath Yatra, particularly in Calcutta, because Calcutta is a place where he started Rath Yatra at the age of 5. He was born in 1896 and he started Rath Yatra 1902.
I met Prabhupada at the Shipriya Park Pandal program. Then I decided that I should take Diksha or initiation from him, because what I have heard from his lecture is melted my heart. So when I met Srila Prabhupada, he inquired my name and where I have come from, what do I study. So everything I told him, and he said, you please come to the temple every day, see the programs, and you join every day whether you like or not. And then I'll give you Diksha afterwards. And then Prabhupada said, are you happy? I said, oh, I'm so much happy, Srila Prabhupada.
In the beginning, the mood was very nice. We are not so much rich, but we are pure in heart. We are very working hard, going to monument, esplanade to distribute. Even personally, once Jayapataka Maharaj told me, please come, and you are a Bengali. I am the only Bengali boy. So every day I used to go after my college over, then distributing book. And then when the people, Bengali people sees me, oh, you are a Bengali, you are foreigners, oh, maybe they are CIA. Then I told them why you are saying all these things, because their Guru Maharaj is Bengali. Oh, that Guru Maharaj is Bengali, is it possible? Yeah, you can come and see. And he was born in Calcutta. He went to abroad to preach this Krishna consciousness movement. Why not you are coming to our Calcutta temple? Then so many people are interested, Bengali people, they used to come and participate.
I was a new devotee then, and I was very doubting, skeptical. The devotees were so enthusiastic. Prabhupada's coming. This Mundakini was always screaming, shouting, Prabhupada's coming, Prabhupada's coming. And I was thinking, who is this Prabhupada, you know? So then I was thinking, when Prabhupada came, I'll really scrutinize him and I'll test, see whether he's what I thought was, genuine. And I was thinking, well, maybe he'll be like a larger-than-life kind of figure, a bit flamboyant, glamorous, and, putting on a bit of a show. So then we were waiting inside, new bhaktas. So it was like a big build-up for us inside. And so we were watching the door, I was thinking, what's he going to be like? So then the door opened, and there was Prabhupada, and he's much shorter than I thought. And then I could see he was very composed. He wasn't in an emotional state. He's like a father when he comes back from work. When he returns home, he puts the key in the door, and then he walks in. And then it's like normal for him. He seemed like the most normal person. And I was surprised by that. I thought that if he was putting on some act, he wouldn't have acted like that. He seemed very genuine. I was pleased by that. He passed my test. I was expecting him to see him put on some kind of act. And then he went in sat on the Vyasasana after paying obeisances to the deities. And I thought, well, what's he going to say? Because I've been reading Prabhupada's books. And then I thought, wow, he's only saying exactly what's in the books. So then again he passed the test. He didn't try to say anything new or invent something special. He kind of passed my test in a way that I wasn't expecting. So I was satisfied.
In 1972, I was a temple president in London, and Srila Prabhupada noticed that there were so many boys and girls staying in the temple. In fact, in the morning, sometimes you'd have to step over sleeping bodies to get down the stairs.
And we needed space to expand. And of course, asking George Harrison to give us a place was the logical course, but we had a policy never to ask George for anything. So during the spring and summer of 1970, I was living at George's new 38-acre estate in Oxfordshire, Friar Park. And I would often mention how crowded we were at Berry Place. And he would say, well, maybe I can do something about that. But it was only when Srila Prabhupada himself came out to Friar Park one day, and we were walking around these huge grounds, and George said to Srila Prabhupada that he thought that a place like this, and he waved his arms around, was needed for us.
Here we're looking at one particular property called Runnymede Park, which is very close to the River Thames. And so when George saw the place, and it hadn't been occupied for some years, and it was quite overgrown, he said this should be called Runny Down Park, because it hadn't been maintained for so long.
When I was a kid, I used to like to go, just in the countryside. I've always liked nature, the woods or the ocean or, gardens and natural things. I'm unhappy about the world being concreted over and all the forests chopped down and the air polluted. I'm very unhappy about that, but I have a long-term view, which is all things must pass. I mean, before it used to be maybe they're going to blow us up with H-bombs. But even that, I thought, it don't really matter. They can't destroy what's within ourselves. Krishna said, there's no time when we didn't exist, and there'll be no time when we cease to exist. The only thing that changes is the body. But the music really was the key that opened the door into the yoga and the yogic philosophy and the Vedic scriptures, which is really the foundation of everything. It gave some sort of backbone to my life.
So I often had the chance to drive Prabhupada from the temple to the park where he was going to walk in our Ford Transit Sankirtan van. And he would sit in the front seat, chant japa quietly. Sometimes he would be reciting Shikshastakam in a barely audible voice, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, like that. He would sing it to himself. I remember once we were walking in Hyde Park and there was a big group of devotees and they're all chanting japa, so it made quite a bit of noise. And there was some bum sleeping on a park bench. So he was woken up by this, and then he saw this big crowd of devotees bearing down on him, and he was a bit sort of frightened or freaked out. And the Prabhupada said, "Good morning," in a very polite way, and then he responded.
One morning in Russell Square, Prabhupada told the story of the yogi and the mouse, and he really got into it, and he started acting out the parts. And we all stopped, and he was entertaining us with the story. And finally, when he got to the sort of the punchline, when the mouse has been transformed into a cat and then a dog, and finally the mouse is a tiger, and turns towards the yogi, and Prabhupada acted the part of the tiger, and his eyes became very big. He said, "Oh, now I will eat you." And then the yogi said, "Again become mouse." The way he acted out the part, his eyes became so big and wide. Prabhupada was such a wonderful entertainer. And one morning there was a couple of big swans. They were on the bank, and when the group came around, they retreated into the water. And Prabhupada said, "See, they feel safe when they take shelter of the water. Similarly, a devotee, takes shelter of Krishna and feels safe." Another morning, Prabhupada's servant had broken off some twigs for him to use as a toothbrush. And this was in Regent's Park. And his servant returned to the group, pursued by a park attendant who was very upset that he'd broken the twigs off. And somehow the incident was diffused, but Prabhupada was disgusted. He said, either directly to the attendant or to us, he said, "You came to India for 200 years, you exploited and stole so many things from our country, and you won't even let us take a twig from your park."
When he came to Bury Place and saw the deities, he was always very encouraging. He used to say things like, "Krishna's very happy here, thank you very much," and just like nod and smile, just a little something that actually kept us going. And one time when he came, he was saying that when the deities are beautifully decorated, your heart becomes beautifully decorated. And when your heart is beautifully decorated, then very soon you will see Krishna.
In making a new Vyasa-san, I've been requested to upholster that Vyasa-san. So most devotees went off to the airport to meet Prabhupada, welcome Prabhupada. We were still trying to finish this thing up before he arrived, so we managed to get it in the temple room, and it was green with gold trim around it. So Prabhupada came, and immediately everyone was offering his obeisances, and I was completely overwhelmed. I'd never seen such a personality. Immediately had extreme emotions of crying and stuff, and I was quite overwhelmed. Then we went in, Prabhupada took darshan, he sat down on the Vyasasana and started giving a lecture. And then just as he finished the lecture, he mentioned something about the Vyasasana. Oh, this is very nice. And then he went upstairs. And as soon as he got there, it seemed like, he just arrived. And then immediately somebody said, "Oh, Prabhupada saying something about the Vyasasana, you should go up there." So I went up, and Prabhupada said, "I want 2 more Vyasasanas." He said, "Yes, they should be small size, because every day Lord Brahma and Narada Muni come here for the evening artik. And there should be a Vyasasana for each of them. It should look identical to my one, small size." So I think we finished them in that same day, and next morning they were placed there. So Prabhupada was very appreciative the next day. He said, yes, they should always be here next to Radhalanda Ishwara. And he told everyone, every day Lord Brahman and Narada Muni come here for the evening artik.
We went down early to Marble Arch to help decorate the cart. And Prabhupada arrived just again when he stepped out of the car. The devotees just took off, they just left the ground, and there was such incredible joy on everyone's faces and such a feeling of safety and security being around Prabhupada. And he sat on the cart that year, he didn't dance. And I just stayed by the Rath Yatra cart, by the rope, just in front of Prabhupada's Vyasasana on his right side. And I don't think I ever looked forward in that Rath Yatra. I think I just looked at Prabhupada the whole way. I was really fascinated by him, because I was still pretty young. I was just turned 17.